Hello, my name is Paola Guthrie and I'm going to share information about a book that I read called Healing ADD by Dr. Amen. Now, I was inspired to read this book by one of my children. One of my children has been gifted in a different way. He has not been diagnosed with ADD, but he has different characteristics in a way that I know he's been gifted in a different way, and I'm trying to understand his world so I can guide him better. We all know at least one person in our lives that has ADD. Would you like to find out how their world is like? Would you like to understand a little bit more about them? Well, let me share this information with you. ADD has been tracked back all the way to 1918 during the Great Flu epidemic. They noticed that children who develop virus encephalitis and meningitis, which is the inflammation on the brain due to a bacteria or due to a virus. After they contracted the virus, after they contracted encephalitis and meningitis, they noticed that their behavior, changed. And they say that ADD is a genetic disease. So either a mom or a dad has it. Or, a child contracted meningitis, encephalitis. Or there's been a lack of oxygen. Or there's been head trauma. Or the brain has been through toxicity. So now we kind of know where ADD comes from. We can also develop it, if our brain goes through different traumas. There are high risk of health issues if we don't treat our ADD, if we don't go through, the correct therapy for ADD. And the high risk are you can develop type 2 diabetes, you can develop Alzheimer's, you have high risk for smoking, you have high risk for drug abuse. If you have ADD, you have high risk for obesity as well. Some of the characteristics of a person with ADD you're going to probably be familiar by if you have a person with ADD in your life is that they have a lack of adrenaline. So in order for their brain to find stability, people with ADD that is not treated, they tend to drive fast because they're looking for the adrenaline. They have a deficit of adrenaline. So they're going to drive fast. They are going to look for drama because they are, it's not truly they are looking for trauma. It's like their brain is trying to find balance in their life. So they're going to try to do things without thinking. Okay, so they can have a good argument with you if you allow it because they're looking to focus at least for a couple of seconds. Their brain's trying to make those neurotransmitters or hormones for the brain to be balanced for just a little bit of time. So one of the recommendations that Dr. Amen said is like never get into argument with a person with ADD. Don't allow them to stimulate their brain that way. They also have a low percentage for them to complete a goal, and it is because they have a low blood flow in their prefrontal cortex, which is right here, and that's the area of the brain where we can plan, where we can create, where we can start and finish a task, is where we can plan, and it is our filter as well. If we think of a negative thought, if we're talking to somebody, you can stop yourself. No, don't say that. But people with ADD don't have that filter. Sometimes they just say what they think, and it's not because they're rude, but it's because they don't have the filter. The prefrontal cortex does not work as a traditional person. So sometimes they're going to say things without filtering it, and it's because they're not capable of. If they're not treating their ADD with medication or with therapy, the prefrontal cortex is not working properly. So don't get your feelings hurt if somebody that you know with ADD is saying things that are hurtful, okay? It is because their prefrontal cortex doesn't have enough blood flow going through it. Another characteristic of people with ADD is that they don't learn from their mistakes, their past mistakes. It's like they do something and they mess it up and they do it again, but it is because their brain is not capable of remembering. So they're gonna try, they do the same mistake again. And this is just for people that don't have their ADD under control. Now let me share with you the 7 types of ADD that Dr. Amen talks about. The first one is a classic ADD. It's a hyperactive, it's restless, it's impulsive and destructive. Type number 2 is an inattentive ADD. It is the opposite of classic one. This person is slow, is lazy, spacey, and unmotivated. Type number 3 is an overfocused ADD. They have all of the ADD symptoms from classic ADD, plus tremendous trouble shifting their attention. And they have a tendency to get stuck or locked into like a negative thought or negative behavior. Type number 4 is temporal lobe ADD. And they have learning and behavior problems. Their moods are not stable. They get irritable more often than usual, than a traditional person. They have dyslexia and they have memory problems. Type number 5 is the limbic ADD. They have all the symptoms from the classic ADD plus negative thoughts, negative emotions. They get moody really easy, sad. They have low energy and they have a decreased interest in life. Type number 6 is called Ring of Fire ADD. And Dr. Amen said if we get the opportunity to see the image of this type of ADD, like that brain image, he named it Ring of Fire because the brain has so much activity. He says there is red light all over the brain, and that's why he called it Ring of Fire. That means the brain has just too much stimulation. And the Ring of Fire ADD is characterized by hyperactive and disinhibited brain, which he says the people that are very violent and very irritable are more likely to have this type of ADD. And type number 7 is an anxious ADD. So people that has anxiety, but they also have stomach problems. So these are the 7 types of ADD that he describes. He also has patients that don't like to take medication. So he talks about a treatment called biofeedback. It's a neurobiofeedback therapy. And he says that you have to go through this therapy from 6 to a year time length, from 6 months to a year for you to learn for you to see the difference. And what I kind of understand from this therapy is that people with ADD have more beta waves in their brain and they need more alpha waves. So I think it's a way for them to learn to focus, like to work with their thoughts, maybe to create those alpha waves. That's what I understood from it. Now, let me share with you something important. If you have ADD, allow me to tell you that you're awesome. Allow me to tell you that you are a genius. Like we need more of you in the ER because you're allowed to work through stress without no fear. If you have ADD, you can be an outstanding CEO. You can be an outstanding salesman. You can be an outstanding artist, a writer. You can create like nobody else. So having ADD, I don't want you to think of it as being damaged or having a disorder. It's like people that need glasses, with your medication, with your treatment. Kind of like a person with glasses, you're going to learn to see better. You're going to learn to see clear. So it is very important for all of you that have ADD to take care of it, because your brain deserves it. Your brain is trying to reach balance somehow. So please help your brain. My name is Paola Guthrie, and I'm just sharing information with you for you to see what is possible out there, for you to improve your life. Blessings to you all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.